Digicel TV, home of Rugby League. Dial star 515 hash to subscribe.
The TV1 News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome. This is TV1 News. I'm Rex Litter.
And I'm Kara Kiru Jr. Join me for your news in sports after the break.
In this edition, free education funds yet to be released. Prime Minister congratulates Trump. And hunters prepare for trial matches.
Education Minister Lucas Dekena says about 160 million kina will be dispersed to schools around the country next week to help them start the school year. This money has been sourced from the leftover funds from last year as the department awaits the release of the 2025 free education funds.
Because of that, we have 160 million residue funds still sitting in our account, which we will use that money to make sure the school year starts off. And so there will be, secretary and the staff will be distributing that to the schools for them to start off while we wait for the systems in the treasury and finance to sort out full funding for the first quarter of 2025.
The government's tuition-free subsidy or GTFS policy that was used from 2022 to 2024 is now renamed as the Government Free Education Policy. The name change reflects the changes done to this policy, where the government is now paying the school fees in full, not just the tuition fees, and covers the cost of project fees.
Education Minister Lucas Dekena announced this change during a media conference in Port Moresby today. He said the purpose of renaming the policy is because the former name had not been applicable since 2022 when the government paid the full fees and did not require any parental contribution. Dekena said the renamed Government Free Education Policy or GFEP covers schools in the national education system that are registered with the Department of Education. This includes the Hela childhood centers, primary schools, secondary schools, National School of Excellence, vocational schools, inclusive education resource centers, flexible open and distance education services, and permitted schools.
The government has since 2022 expanded the budget with the inclusion of a project fee grant component to further relieve families from the burden of economic hardships. This special intervention will continue in 2025.
The policy under its new name covers two components: schools operational and functional grants that cater for an 80% component that will be disbursed directly to schools and a commodity component of 20% that will be disbursed to support basic teaching and learning materials.
The government's free education policy will consist of two components in 2025. These will be: one, school operational and functional grants, which are around 80% or at 80%. The commodity, number two, the commodity component, which is 20%, which supports science, mathematics, and basic school material.
Interestingly, since 2021, the government tuition fee grants under TFFE and GTFS have used enrollments and a standard rate to pay student grants, irrespective of geographical locality. In 2025, this policy will change to pay students based on locality.
The Department of Education is undertaking a unit cost study in 2024, and it has provided us different levels of fees according to parity, namely highly accessible, moderately accessible, remote, very remote, and extremely remote.
Dekene said the government will pay a 100 kina grant per child for PNG citizens enrolled in an approved and registered permitted school, while elementary schools will no longer receive the funding due to its phasing out. The minister added that the government is committed to seeing every child receive quality education under the free education policy. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
The government of Papua New Guinea and the Morea provincial government will have a combined share of 30% in the upcoming Wafi Golpu Copper Gold project. 10% of this stake will be given to the Morea provincial government, while the national government retains 20%. Prime Minister James Marape, in highlighting the outcomes of his meeting with the head of Newmont Corporation at the margins of the World Economic Forum, said the government is committed to advancing this project, with the mine development contract expected to be finalized in February. This, he says, is to ensure the MDC is signed at the earliest to allow the project to move toward a final investment decision and subsequent development. Prime Minister James Marape has congratulated U.S. President Donald Trump on his inauguration as the President of the United States of America. Marape, on behalf of the government and the people of Papua New Guinea, emphasized the deep and enduring ties PNG has with the U.S. built on mutual respect, shared values, and a commitment to advancing peace, security, and development in the Pacific region.
United States has been a steadfast partner in Papua New Guinea's development journey. Prime Minister James Marape made this remark when congratulating U.S. President-elect Donald J. Trump. He says the partnership between PNG and USA has brought about tangible benefits, including through initiatives under the Defense Cooperation Agreement, or DCA, which strengthens the collaboration in regional security and defense. The DCA signed to bolster cooperation between the United States and Papua New Guinea underscores the strategic importance of the Pacific region and the said commitment to promoting stability, security, and sovereignty. The Prime Minister also commended the United States' continued engagement in critical areas such as education, health, and climate resilience, which are integral to Papua New Guinea's development priorities. He said, as a Pacific nation, PNG values the United States' leadership in addressing regional challenges and its commitment to the prosperity of the Pacific. Marape further extended his best wishes to President Trump, expressing optimism about further strengthening the bilateral relationship between Papua New Guinea and the United States under his leadership. Freddie Moe, TV1 News.
The timeline for Papua LNG remains on track, with the final investment decision expected later this year, says Prime Minister James Marape. This is following his meeting with the heads of ExxonMobil and Total Energies, respectively on the sides of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. He said it was pleasing to note that both developers reiterated their commitment to the progress in not only Papua LNG, but also associated projects such as Pinyang LNG. The Prime Minister said the delay in the Papua LNG project was due to cost concerns, causing the developers to go back to the drawing board. Re-engineering and rescoping is now moving towards the next phase of development. Relatives of the police officer who was tragically killed in Tari have given a 7-day ultimatum to the Hela and Southern Highlands provincial governments to repatriate the body of the police officer back to Mandi from Port Moresby. The relatives presented their petition on Tuesday, while also demanding compensation payments to allow the access of Nipa Kutubu Road and Mandi Tari section of the Highlands Highway.
Relatives of late Constable George Lapon want the Hela and Southern Islands provincial governments to pay compensation for the death of the officer last month in Tari. Spokesperson of the relatives, David Puki, when presenting their petition, explained that their appeal was not to create fear, but to fix and address law and order issues in the provinces going forward.
We are united, but let me tell you and let me tell the nation that there won't be any trouble. If things like this are sorted out peacefully, we reach an understanding, that's it.
Member for Nipa Kutubu and Minister for Defense, Dr. Billy Joseph, on behalf of Governor for Southern Islands, William Powie, expressed deep condolences to the family of the deceased officer, emphasizing the need for appropriate measures to support the families of fallen officers.
Appeal to all of us is to make sure that we do not set a bad precedent in which we go to a path or one road where you may go long and behind time heavy come up time by you may go the same road or by me change him to and go on Narbla road. So it is very important that the provincial governments of Hela, Southern Highlands, and Western Highlands in our provincial assemblies, we need to have a process of how to, deal with this kind of situation. Right now, you mean so all working like how they feel should be done.
Governor for Hela, Philip Pundial, highlighted the importance of ensuring justice in the case of the officer's death and reiterated his commitment to advocating for the necessary resources to assist the family during this difficult time.
On record, 4+ suspects were involved. Some staff seen at the crime scene, all are now behind bars. So me acknowledge him, or me Tokamas law minister, you acknowledge him this line. This line I'm showing also me like him. Justice must come up. Money, pull him trigger must held responsible. And Muslim so me stand up one time lo this law talk sore kam lo me you bla.
Through this engagement, the leaders aim to foster a sense of security and support for the community while reinforcing the importance of respecting and valuing the sacrifices made by law enforcement personnel. Freddie Moe, TV1 News.
Meantime, a local leader in Nipa Kutubu and a relative of the deceased police officer, Fiabik Kilip, called for unity among the two provinces and to allow the rule of law to take its course.
We want to continue to live in harmony and live as sister provinces, Hela and Southern Islands. We want to live together as sister provinces as usual that we used to live. We also pass our apologies to the operations of Santos and ExxonMobil if this roadblock has affected the operations during the course of this outcry that we have had, where there was no movements of vehicles and trucks, especially into Heights and Kutubu. We also pass our apologies on to the operators of our projects in our province, which indirectly helps to run development projects in our districts and our provinces.
Health Minister concerned over Laloki Hospital Board appointment and dedication service held for teachers in Eastern Highlands. Those stories and more after the break. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
The Toyota JD Hiace bus comes in 14 and 15-seater high-roof luxury model powered by 2.8 liters JD engine for optimal performance output, fuel efficiency and quietness, designed with improved safety features and easy maneuverability for tire steering angle. The Hiace lift suspension and annular frame structure is opted for smooth ride, comfort and safety. Experience the ride on the Hiace bus and experience the Hiace pride, the bus that exceeds all expectations.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
In its first 10 years, the PNG LNG project has had a long-lasting impact, contributing more than 28 billion kina to the state of Papua New Guinea. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levy and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
That's up in the air, Todman underneath it. And India strike already. Well, this is better. Warner on one leg. That's a shot we've seen him play many times.
Oh no, and it's gone through.
Oh my goodness, what a blinder that is. That is absolutely sensational.
Welcome back. Significant effort is being put by the Health Ministry under the leadership of current Minister Elias Kapavore to restore the downgraded Laloki Psychiatric Hospital that is currently at level 3 and classified as a health center facility. Starting with acting appointments for the roles of CEO and Director for Social Change and Mental Health Services, the next most priority this week is for the Health Ministry and the National Department of Health to initiate the process for new appointments for the board of the hospital.
For more than 15 months, the Laloki Psychiatric Hospital has been operating without a board of the Directorate for Social Change and mental health services. According to the Mental Health Act of 2015, the 9-member board shall be appointed by the Minister in the National Gazette for a term not exceeding 3 years and are eligible for reappointment. The board is responsible for monitoring operations of the Directorate and the hospital, compliance of standards and good practice, overseeing improvement and measures for the occupational health care of the staff and patients, among others. For over 15 months, the lack of a board has negatively impacted the hospital. With the recent appointment of Acting CEO Dr. Ludwig Nanawar and the Acting Director of Social Change and Mental Health Services, Dr. Nelson Mack, Minister Morea aims to restore the hospital, starting with these necessary appointments.
CEO is always appointed by the board. Now last time, board am expired, term of board Laloki, Secretary Hospital, but anid lo Tesla, anid lo mental health act of 2015. I'm requiring board, the board for Laloki for the mental health social change directorate will become a priority now. So we establish good governance in this place. We're going back to office today to make sure that we have letters to the various organizations under the section 15 of the particular act, is making sure that we have 9 boards who are recommended, who are required to be in place. So we hope that that's our priority now.
Minister Morea says earlier in the month, the hospital had less than 2,600 kina in its operations account. That has been rectified by a commitment of 1 million kina from the National Department of Health and 10 million kina in public investment program funding allocated to the hospital this year. Mary Silla Kelleton, TV1 News.
Meanwhile, Minister Morea says the Mental Health Act of 2015 has become the focus for government, stating that there has been so much confusion in regards to the implementation of the Act and mental health care services for the Laloki facility.
It looks like this Mental Health Act, it's another process of Mental Health taking it through. I will take it back to NEC and see if there are some amendments to be made to this particular Act, because since this Act became implemented to this health facility, that was when we started seeing all this inconvenience coming through. I want to make mention again today that since the implementation of Mental Health Act of 2015, we have seen a lot of confusion. We have seen a lot of confusion in the way that we are implementing the healthcare services for our hospital here. So I want to assure our staff today that we will make sure we do the necessary amendments if need be, or otherwise there's a strong recommendation coming through that maybe that particular act will be maybe repealed in its entirety.
Recently appointed Acting CEO for the Laloki Psychiatric Hospital, Dr. Ludwig Nanawar, in accepting his appointment, says it comes with huge challenges. Dr. Ludwig, a psychiatrist for over 2 decades, outlined significant changes that need to be done immediately, including the critical need for the Department of Personnel Management to fill the 32 funded vacancies for the Laloki Psychiatric Hospital.
Elevating the downgraded level of the Laloki Psychiatric Hospital to a Level 4 facility by the end of the year, ensuring the Department of Personnel Management fills the 32 funded vacancies for the hospital, and proposing better housing for staff are among many things that need to be done at the hospital.
Only 2 doctors, we have space for 3, at least up to 5 doctors. There are a lot of vacancies in a lot of areas, especially in rehabilitation, occupational therapy, outpatient. So there's a lot of vacancies.
Dr. Nanawar also highlighted that he intends to liaise for the upgrade of the CEO's position that is currently at grade 16. Other positions in the hospital also need to be upgraded with more attractive packages offered to staff in order to attract and retain them.
The last time they advertised the CEO grade 16 position, there were only 3 applicants.
Dr. Nanawar says he is determined to ensure that Laloki Psychiatric Hospital lifts its standards from Level 3 to a level 4 facility by the end of the year.
I'm determined with the management to get this hospital back to level 4 at least by end of 2025. And by end of 2028, we should get it to level 5 at least.
Dr. Ludwig says there are also plans to develop the hospital into an institute of mental health, which not only caters for hospital patient care, but also research, training, and community-based treatment. Maricela Calaton, TV1 News.
Eastern Highlands Province has officially launched its 2025 academic year this week with dedication services held for teachers in the both eastern and western zones. The services focused on discipline, commitment and unity to deliver quality education for students in the province.
Eastern Highlands Province kick-started its 2025 academic year with dedication services for teachers. The Western Zone held its service at Gorka Secondary School, while the Eastern Zone gathered at Kainantu Technical Secondary School. The events, which emphasized discipline, commitment and unity, featured speeches from key education leaders, including Provincial Education Director Wesley Albert, Senior Inspector for Basic Education Mupe Kaupa, and Kainantu DDA CEO Dick Pena.
Education in the province has a dream to see every Eastern Highlander, future Eastern Highlanders, to become unique and marketable with quality attributes for nation building.
Eastern Highlands Provincial Education Director Wesley Albert emphasized the importance of these pillars in guiding teachers' efforts this year. He urged educators to embrace dedication and unity for effective delivery of quality education.
Thank you for all the service you rendered to both the schools in the 4 districts of Eastern Highlands in 2024. God has been good to us. You've done your best, I know, committing your time and delivering quality education for our children in all the schools that we have been to. And while on that, I also thank our headmasters and especially the grade 8 teachers for the class that we have taken last year. The results have been very good so far. And we got 60% of our students in grade 8 have passed the national cutoff mark, and which is a good news to us. And your work is not wasted. We see some good results. I commend you for your efforts, and I also expect you to do the same this year.
Teachers from Okapa, Obura, Wananera, Enganofi and Kainantu districts gathered under the theme Provide Quality Education by Creating Positive Culture with God and the motto Discipline. Kainantu DDA CEO Dick Pena marked the occasion by donating 3,000 kina worth of fuel to education officials and presenting a Suzuki vehicle to the newly appointed inspector for high and secondary schools.
I want us to challenge that teaching is a profession that we chose. There's no other job that we chose to be. We wanted to be a teacher, and we are already teachers, and we will continue to be teachers, and then we will resign or retire, and we will go back home soon. So I'd like to challenge ourselves with education is our business.
With a strong vision and dedicated leadership, Eastern Highlands Province aims for another successful academic year. Kawakiru Jr., TV1 News.
The Universal Church Victory Youth Group organized a gathering of over 500 youths around the country, providing them with a moment of fun, peace and spiritual empowerment on Saturday, January 18th, 2025. Frida Kana with this report.
The Universal Church designated the year 2025 as the Year of Youth. It is the desire of the church to see young people convert and become true servants of God. The Victory Youth Group organized an event called Luau 5G with the aim of sending a message to young people that through a connection with the Creator, it is possible to be truly happy and to have a new life. The event was held simultaneously in 3 locations in Papua New Guinea, where the church is situated. In the capital, the event took place at Adventure Park at 14 Mile, whilst in Morea province in Ley City and Bougainville in Arawa. Hundreds of young people, family members, friends and guests joined also at this great event. The occasion featured performances of dance, live Christian music, and extensive interaction between the audience and the event coordinators. Bishop Jonathan Pine, guided by the teachings of the Bible, spoke about 5 connections that can change people's lives and included correction to family and friends, among others. There were prayers of surrender, during which young people were invited to dedicate their lives to the Lord Jesus Christ. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
And now to the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2494 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2419, $0.3835 Australian dollars, €0.2251 euro, and 37.57 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa, copra, and copper closed higher, while gold, palm oil, and crude oil closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. You are watching TV1 News. We'll bring you news from abroad when we return. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
In its first 10 years, the PNG LNG project has had a long-lasting impact, contributing more than 28 billion kina to the state of Papua New Guinea. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levy and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
This is a second-day progress update for the works that has been carried out. We started 12 meters shutting the plant, emptied the clarifier, exposed all the infrastructure, surface, internal, that needs to be repaired, did an inspection assessment, then handed over to the contractor with the engineer. Currently they're uplifting the rake structure, aligning it properly, and also they've removed the gearbox and the motor and the upper layer of the mechanical components of the faulty gearbox, and now they're in the process of removing the faulty gear. At the rate we are going, we expect to complete it by the end of January. Just appeal to the customers to bear with us. The services are still flowing, but not to the full extent because of the repair works to the faulty clarifier. But we're doing our best to ration water so everybody in the city gets some water during this time. And hopefully the work will be completed soon and we'll restore full service.
What would you say to 6 months free bonus credit? Wowee! That's right! Get the Wowee 4G LTE smartphone from Digicel and you'll enjoy 35 kina bonus credit every month for 6 months, plus a whopping 50 gigs of data and 60 minutes free talk for 7 days. Hurry! Get your Wowee 4G LTE smartphone for only 199 kina at a Digicel store or agent today, and say Wowee to a total of 210 kina free credit. Only with Digicel.
Rugby has never been as hot as it is right now.
This upcoming Six Nations is the moment.
The interception comes from Lowe, and Lowe is away.
The pressure, the intensity. All you can ever do is be ready.
Ready for war?
Welcome back. Turning overseas, April will mark 2 years since the ACT became the first Australian jurisdiction to offer free abortions. Demand has grown since this scheme was introduced, and the challenge now is keeping up with demand. The change has had some unintended consequences, including a stark contrast in access between women and in Canberra and those living across the border.
For 15 years, it's been Annie Collins welcoming women into the abortion clinic in Queanbeyan.
I love it because every day is different.
But she fears her days supporting patients here are numbered.
So we would be doing 15 to up to 21 terminations a week. Now we're down to maybe 3, 5, or 7 perhaps.
The dramatic drop has pushed the clinic to the brink of closure, and it's the availability of free abortions over the border in the ACT that's to blame, because women who can are understandably choosing the no-cost option. A medical abortion can cost up to $400, while a surgical procedure can be more than $2,000. To be eligible for a free abortion, a patient must live in Canberra. In the first 14 months, more than 1,500 people access the no-cost scheme, either through MSI, formerly Marie Stopes, or a participating doctor, and demand is expected to double this financial year.
From here, the challenge is how we sustain it, how we look at sustainable funding, how we meet demand for the model, how we support our GPs in the community and MSI to do that.
Canberra GP Jessica Titterman sees the publicly funded service as a huge win for the capital, but is deeply concerned about the abortion clinic in Queanbeyan closing its doors.
It is a really unfortunate, I'm sure unintended consequence that then further limits, if that service does close or is no longer able to continue providing these services, further limits choice.
And Dr. Titterman says a stark inequity has also emerged between women who live as little as 10 kilometres apart.
I think this is particularly stark because, Queanbeyan is so close to Canberra and so many of the surrounding New South Wales towns where we often have a more fluid relationship for healthcare, and this is a hard line that has been drawn.
The closure of the Queanbeyan clinic would likely prompt a jump in demand at MSI Canberra, which is already at capacity.
We could take on more people, but we would also need to get more doctors.
Which is not an easy thing in Canberra.
No, that's right.
The ACT government told the ABC access to abortion services for New South Wales residents is a matter for the New South Wales government. A spokesman for the New South Wales Health Minister Ryan Park said more than $4 million had been allocated to improving abortion care, but failed to clarify whether any of that funding would support the clinic in Queanbeyan or women living across the border.
The federal and territory governments have announced a suite of funding measures for domestic violence services across the Northern Territory. The Commonwealth money includes an investment in Central Australian legal services to extend support to victim survivors in remote communities, which the sector says couldn't come sooner.
A boost in federal funding welcomed by DV services in desperate need.
$9 million in total is coming from the Central Australia plan.
What we see at the moment, because we are so underfunded, especially by the Northern Territory government, is that we're operating at a crisis response.
The Legal Support Service, one of 4 organisations in Central Australia to receive federal money for programs addressing domestic violence. The funds, to be pulled from the $250 million Commonwealth support package for the region, pledged at the start of 2023. The federal government also promising separate funding for 14 emergency homes for women and children in Alice Springs.
We have announced over $7 million to develop 56 safe places here in Alice Springs.
The Territory Government joining in with a pledge of $8.6 million to help domestic violence survivors access essential services. Funds, it says, are separate to its election promise of $180 million to the sector.
It's a joint initiative with the Northern Territory Government and the Federal Government. Again, it's something that's been worked on over the last 18 months.
It's well known that the need is enormous and services are overwhelmed.
The NT government holding off to the end of the month to allocate more funds.
Australia has the most organic farmland in the world, but producers say current labelling laws mislead consumers and are crushing trust in the industry. A proposed law change being pushed by the coalition will define the word organic, weeding out producers who falsely label their produce as organic.
These cauliflowers are certified organic, free of chemicals and ethically sourced. Cut from the stem at this organic farm in South Australia's Murray Lands, which is fighting for stricter labelling laws in Australia.
It's a very uneven playing field.
A lack of national regulation around the word organic is leaving producers and consumers high and dry.
I mean, the fact that it isn't regulated definitely does allow for other producers to greenwash.
There is a loophole which a small number of unscrupulous operators do use to put the word organic on the packaging when not all of the ingredients are organic.
And with 5 organic certification bodies in Australia, it's a complex market shoppers have to navigate.
From a consumer perspective, the onus really falls on them to check the label and know what to look for in order to be 100% sure that what they're buying is fully organic and certified.
Australia has the most organic land in the world, but farmers are fighting to legislate the organic industry, which some say would benefit consumers.
I think definitely it'll clear up any waters that perhaps are muddied, that the consumer don't understand, and they realise they can buy it in confidence and know that it's actually a certified organic produce.
Australia is the last developed country in the OECD without a legal definition for the word organic, making exports costly, requiring farmers to prove their credentials to each individual country. The proposed National Organic Standard Bill aims to introduce a single certification standard recognized internationally that all Australian producers would follow.
Export is, a really important part of our future. So this really would be, I think, quite a bit of a game changer for us.
The coalition introduced the bill to Parliament, but it's now the subject of a Senate inquiry.
I think Australian consumers are getting done over by foreign imports who can have less than 2% of their ingredients as organics and put an organic sticker on it.
The Agriculture Department told the inquiry the cost of regulating the industry would outweigh the benefits and disproportionately affect smaller organic producers. The federal government says it will consider the proposed bill and the Senate inquiry findings, set to be tabled at the end of the month.
Sports is up next. Carol will join you at the sports desk with your news in sports after these messages.
A lot of people in this country thought, we wouldn't be able to do it. They were talking in terms of 2 or 3 decades. Well, I was talking in terms of few years.
Bryce Mendes over this corner kick. Hela in! See the setup for Ericsson and Manchester United lead. Here come the hosts, and Williams tees it up, and the deflection. Looking for the cross into it, this series, this time he's got it. Richarlison.
There have always been myths, tales of fortunes made, and others squandered. But now, there is a new breed of alchemists. They're pioneers.
Maybe this is our year.
Daring daredevils.
I need to go someplace dangerous.
And master craftsmen.
When you find gold, kind of sets your heart sailing.
And don't count out the hustlers.
This is more money than some people make in a lifetime.
Who'll turn grit into gold. Strike It Rich, Summer of Gold, this month on Discovery.
Just the right amount of spice. Oh,
Perhaps you know me as the Dragon Warrior.
Oh, Master Shifu!
That's much worse.
I will become the world's greatest villain by destroying the world's greatest hero.
What is it you're holding? A cookie?
One last Dragon Warrior smackdown.
Oh, come on! Ah, you're adorable.
You can't defeat me. I am every opponent you've ever faced.
Skadoosh.
Stand back. I'm gonna kick my butt.
Hey.
Kung Fu Panda 4 premieres Tuesday, January 28th, 9 p.m. on HBO.
For Sam Darry, he's brought greater physicality to his game this year. Here they are, into the corner, he scored!
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. In embracing unity and prosperity, the Southern Highlands Provincial Government is prepared to host the Unity Games in Mendi. The Games represent an opportunity to highlight the strengths, mutual respect and celebrate the diversity of the province. Stakeholders have been mobilized to deliver the Games with preparatory work on the facilities and overhaul of the town's infrastructure underway. The Unity Games, after several deferrals, is set to hit the ground this year. Taking charge in preparation working delivering the Games is Governor William Powie and team, who are currently on the ground to get administrative issues on track and the stadium and facilities ready. Governor Powie says the Games will directly benefit his people. He said major infrastructure like roads and school buildings must be improved to host PNG. The PNG Hunters are only a week out from their first scheduled internal trial matches that will include 2 matches against Central Dabaris and Hela Wigmen, respectively, with dates yet to be confirmed. Hunters assistant coach Enoch Maki, in the meantime, is happy with the team relocating back to its home training ground, NFS, this week.
This week has been all about perfecting and fine-tuning their combinations and areas in their defensive structure and attack ahead of the first trials next week. Hunters assistant coach Enoch Maki said intensity and enthusiasm has picked up after the Christmas New Year break, with the boys ripping in to keep their sports in the team. He added there's been a lot of positive progress made so far as the boys now look forward to the trials.
Basically, our defense is okay. Still some small things to do, but I think every week, every day, the progress and master it. That was start low, going to like good timing, everything and combinations and misilo. Go right, so mas.
While dates for the trials are not yet finalized, Maki is also pleased to announce they have secured a couple of trial matches against 2 franchise clubs from the Diesel ExxonMobil Cup, namely Central Dabaris and Hela Wigmen, following next week's internal trials. Maki also acknowledged the return of Hunters duo Alex Max and Kosobandi, who was stood down for disciplinary matters for 2 weeks. However, upon their return, the boys have been relegated to the Warriors team, which is Hunters Team 2, meaning they have to work hard to win their sport back in the main Hunters squad. Maki explained that Hunters is a professional side with set standards and rules in place when it comes to player discipline.
Good to have them back to last year. To leader long team long so. To beg and to mass, but still to not come and go straight to Hunters team straight. To still start long or estimate. Some on standard to the Hunters. You can't just come and go straight to Hunters. So you have to work hard from here to Hunters. So you must still start low or estimate.
The other positive outcome of the Hunters camp this week is seeing the progress and recovery of some of the key players. He said Felix Baki, Sil Kalo and Robert Matthias are back in training, with Joshua Lau and Wallen Tauloi also expected to return earlier than expected.
And some of boys, Robert Matthias, all these guys all progress very well now. Rehab Lol, most likely will come back soon. Even Josh Lau, Wallen, all them all rehab Lol, looking straight, so I think will come back earlier than expected.
Maki also announced the departure of Hunters prop Tony Warrott, who secured a playing contract with a local club in Brisbane after the first block. He said the Hunters are very happy for Tony and wish him well in his new journey. Maki said they would like to see more Hunters players excelling in the game and seeking other playing opportunities overseas. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Returning PNG Hunters live-wire fullback Morea Jr. is happy to be back in training with the team after his pre-season stint with the Queensland Cowboys in Townsville. Morea is excited and willing to impart and share with his fellow Hunters teammates what he's learned from the Cowboys' experience, highlighting good communication, right defense, and attacking awareness are key to becoming a NRL player.
Coming back to join the Hunters camp for Block 2 of the pre-season training camp has added value to the team, especially the new skills and knowledge that he has attained from the Cowboys' training culture and experience. Third week back in the Hunters system, and Morea has brought back a new vibe into the camp and willing to transfer and share some valuable tips and knowledge about having good communication system in the team to add confidence and build good team rapport. He also emphasized on how the NRL defensive system and attack are so important to the team's success.
Coming back here, I think my communicating level and my skills level has gone to another level, and I'm trying to teach the boys some of the things that I learned down there.
Morea said first day at training was nerve-wracking, especially meeting up and rubbing shoulders with some high-profile NRL players that he only see on TV.
Jimmy Nugulika is from PNG too, so yeah. We're actually apartment. We share the same apartment, so yeah. They're at that level, so yeah, they really helped me a lot, especially in communicating.
Morea said his main takeaway from the Cowboys' experience was communication, which was hard in the first place as he was not talking a lot, but now he's realized how vital communication is in the team. He said if he gets another opportunity, he would go out of his way and probably communicate a lot more in order to build strong bond with players. Morea said 2024 was a real tough year for him, but was lucky enough to get a late call after the Comals. In 2025, he set his goal higher, and that is to compete and retain the #1 jumper.
Last year was tough. It was a pretty tough year for me. Was lucky enough at the back end, but yeah, definitely this year I'm really looking forward to competing for that #1 jersey. Again, Sunny obviously owned it last year.
Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
South Pacific Motors Sports Club Ultimate Challenge has received an influx of players from the Port Moresby and National Capital District darts competitions. The Sports Club Ultimate Challenge tournament is a members-only tournament that comprises of darts, pool and snooker. Members of the sports club convene at the club every Mondays and Tuesdays for the games.
Amongst darts, pool and snooker at the South Pacific Motors Sports Club's Ultimate Challenge, dart has been attracting a lot of players to the competition. Some of the players coming are PNG representative players. Running for the third straight year, Tournament Director of the Sports Club's Ultimate Challenge, Joe Chen, said they have witnessed an influx of players from both NCD and Port Moresby Darts Associations, an indication that the tournament has grown in the last 3 years.
We received a lot of players, influx of players from NCD Darts to come and join the teams, which has really improved the standard of the darts in our competition. Whereas in the early years, when we first started, darts was a sport that not in the club that not really many people like to participate in. But now we're finding it's one of the highlights of the competition night. We've got representative players from NCD Darts, we've got representative players from POM Darts. There's no affiliation.
Chen says Ka Club also plays host to corporate darts competitions, and it is no surprise seeing some PNG representative darts players showing their interest in participating in the sports club's Ultimate Challenge Dart Games. Chen urged interested individuals to become members of the club in order to participate in the challenge. President of Sports Club Richard Richards expressed optimism about the tournament and its future as he recounted how the competition started 3 years ago.
This is the third year running now, and it started with 8 teams. We're up to 9 teams now, and hopefully it continues to grow as we get older, I guess, and the new blood will come in and take over from us.
The South Pacific Sports Club entered 9 teams in the competition. It started in October 2024 and is expected to conclude in March. Rex Lita, TV1 Sports.
And that's all we have for sports. Next up is the weather forecast with Rex.
In regional forecast, southern Port Moresby, cloudy periods with few patchy showers and possible thunderstorms. Alotau, mostly cloudy, with some rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Popondetta, partly cloudy, with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Mamase, Lay, partly cloudy, with few evening showers and possible thunderstorms. Madang, mostly cloudy, with some showers and possible thunderstorms tonight. Wewak, mostly cloudy with some rain showers and possible thunderstorms. New Guinea Islands, Kavieng, cloudy periods with some rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Kimbe, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms tonight. Boka, partly cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. And Highlands, Goroka, Bands and Kundiawa, partly cloudy with some evening showers. Manditari and Wabeg, mostly cloudy with some rain showers and possible thunderstorms to morning fall. Ocean forecast for PNG areas for the next 24 hours. Coral Sea, sea slight with southeast winds of 10 to 15 knots. Solomon Sea, sea smooth with northeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. Bismarck Sea, sea smooth to slight with northeast to southeast winds of 5 to 15 knots. Pacific Ocean, sea slight to moderate with northeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. And coastal waters forecast. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwai Islands to Karamatayul Island to Hood Point to Samurai Islands. Seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel and all Milinwe Islands. Seas 0.5 to 1 meter. And waters of Finsafen through Vitia Strait to Siasi Long Island to Madang. Seas 0.5 to 1 meter. And that ends another edition of TV1 News. Bye for now.
Bye.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our